คุณยายใช้กินชอบแบบห้อยคอเมื่อมีอุปกรณ์แบบนี้แม้ลูกหลานออกไปนอกบ้านก็ยังติดตามดูแลคุณยายได้นะคะสวัสดีค่ะคุณยายใช้กินสวัสดีค่ะคุณยายนิดถามเลยค่ะอุปกรณ์ชิ้นนี้เนี่ยใส่ไว้ตลอดเลยไหมคะคุณยาย
ใส่ตลอดเลย
ใส่ตลอดเลยอะค่ะตอนนอนถอดไหมคะ
นอนไม่ใส่
เรารู้สึกยังไงคะเวลาได้มีระบบนี้เข้ามาติดตั้งที่บ้าน
มันก็มีอ่ะคือแต่เราลบไอ้นี้เราก็ยังกดของความเหลือได้
อุปกรณ์เหล่านี้ก็ส่งข้อมูลเข้าไปที่ศูนย์กลางผ่านทางอินเทอร์เน็ตนั่นเองค่ะและนี่ก็เป็นตัวอย่างหนึ่งนะคะของการนำเทคโนโลยี IoT หรือว่า Internet of Things มาใช้กันจริงๆในชีวิตประจำวันค่ะซึ่งเราก็จะได้เห็นมากขึ้นเรื่อยๆนะคะเพราะว่า IoT นี้ก็เป็นเทรนด์ของโลกค่ะพบกันใหม่วันพรุ่งนี้สวัสดีค่ะ
ครับก็นั่นเป็นเคสจริงนะที่เราทำตอนนี้ยังใช้อยู่แล้วก็ช่วยเรื่องของสวัสดิการของผู้สูงอายุนะครับแล้วก็เป็นที่ภาคภูมิใจก็ IDC ก็ให้รางวัลที่ในที่หนึ่งของเอเชียในแง่ของ healthcare นะครับ John can you tell more on the case study on the international case study
Thank you. So one other thing I wanted to re-stress, and this is why edge computing. A lot of new sensors come with the ability to connect directly to the Wi-Fi and send information to the cloud. But if you think about it, there's a few things. One, you want decision making close to the edge. And number two, if you're collecting, for example, temperature data or illumination data or humidity data, and you collect data every second, do you want to send the same temperature information to the cloud every second? Multiply that times the number of sensors that will start to come online over the next 2 to 3 years, and you have congestion of traffic and airwaves, which is unnecessary. So having a device at the end that actually manages that data and performs decision making, depending on, like, for example, unless there's a spike in temperature that requires, maybe there's a fire and you want to send the fire brigade in, then you don't really need to make any assessment except for maybe regular intervals. Every 30 minutes you would send the data and say the temperature has been constant, something like this. And you have certain parameters that detect that. So it's important to really recognize why edge computing is important and why it has a place today. And that covers kind of for a wide number of different types of scenarios. Again, traffic management on street lights, if you've got integrated cameras and VSS, and other components. Similarly, as you see the example in front of you, this is a solar and wind farm. Our devices are used to actually manage what takes place. And sensors within each one of, let's say, these wind turbines determine the strength of the wind that's coming in, as well as the amount of energy produced. So that if the wind is actually too strong, it automatically will make adjustments to the blade pitch in order to compensate so that the amount of energy that's generated is necessary, but it also won't cause any kind of problem by spinning too fast or maybe any kind of structural damage. Similarly for the solar panels. In some of these cases, they're automated to actually move with the direction of the sun. And you want to, again, be able to understand the performance level. So if they're still moving and maybe performance degrades, so that it's generating, say, 30% less energy than that solar panel normally does, you want to be able to do something about that. It could be a problem with the solar panel, but having that information and then making the decision as to whether to shut it down and call in for a maintenance repair or something else is really important. So the example you see in front of us is a case study that can be found on Dell's website, where we kind of go through what happened and what the results were after implementing IoT and working closely with Dell and EMC to make this a successful story. Now, next up is an example of what we've done in China in the Fujian province, where we've gone in and worked closely with the university, similar to what you guys are doing, and tried to update the transportation. And this was specific around streetlights, traffic flows and congestions, as well as kind of managing those lights themselves. And when we consider different elements, like today we see these grids in Bangkok that show us where traffic is heavy and where it's not heavy. What it doesn't do is integrate that with weather data. So for example, if it's raining and you plan to go in a certain direction, based off where people are at and where the traffic seems to go, you may be diverted in a different direction because of a weather pattern. There could be an accident that isn't reported because it's not an automated system. So when you integrate all the data, for example, traffic kind of hazards, weather type information like raining or flooding environments or heavy congestion or road construction. I mean, these different elements as integrated to a single kind of framework in the back end, in the cloud, can actually make decisions that are produced and pushed back out to the drivers to help guide them to relieve the traffic stresses. Now this can be applied not only in Bangkok, but really pretty much across Thailand and across any metropolitan area where traffic could be a problem.
Maybe apply to Swan City over there.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Next.
Now, another thing that we look at, one of our partners is very heavily involved, is a company called IMS Evolve. They're based out of the UK, and what they focus on is consumption of energy and how to reduce what's happening. Now, they've done a lot of cases in the cold chain supply area where they look at the management of different retail outlets and how they manage kind of the refrigeration and the freezing units to reduce energy consumption and the green footprint. By doing this, and the same with building management, by reducing the footprint, they're actually creating an environment that's more, I would say, greener and reduces the overall consumption of the city from an electrical demand perspective. So again, the case study itself is published, and we're happy to share that information with you to give you more of an idea of what the challenge was, what the solution was.
Blueprint, right?
Yes.
ก็คือจะมี blueprint นะเราเข้าไปในเว็บไซต์เดียวนะว่าจะควรจะมีเลเยอร์ของการพัฒนาแพลตฟอร์มแบบไหนบ้างแต่ละเคสครับอย่างก่อน
Yeah. And the blueprints, I mean, they're really good, I would say informative in that you'll get a good idea of how to plan for and look at targeting a specific IoT project that will benefit your city and what you're doing. Now we, obviously we'll tell you which software we use as far as applications, which hardware platforms we use, but in general the steps are outlined there for you guys to kind of look at and